This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV from Essex to Thailand via Zoom. 36 hours before we see 2026. I'm Gareth Davies. How are you?
36 hours indeed. I'm very well indeed. I'm just celebrating New Year here with some friends. Rooftop bar tomorrow night. New experience. Fantastic city. Amazing people here. Haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. I was working Miami with Jake Paul and the very tragic scenario with Anthony Joshua. I was in Miami for that, and obviously you were in Dubai, where I'd been the week before with you. You had 2 weeks out there, didn't you? And you picked Chase Damore to win that, by the way, to me privately. You just had a feeling he was going to do it, and he humbled Andrew Tate, didn't he, in that fight? I thought Chase Damore's abilities, even though it is, misfits influencer boxing, he's come on a really long way. So yeah, I was at my own misfits event in a way in Miami, but AJ was classy all the way through it and classy at the very end as well. And poor old Jake Paul got his jaw broken in two places for the privilege I expect in his head of being in with a two-time heavyweight champion of the world. Although, when I say all that, obviously events of the last 24 hours have now overshadowed that in so many ways.
Yeah, look, I was going to say that before we do take time to reflect on 2025 and look forward to 2026. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to anybody and everybody affected by horrific events yesterday in Nigeria, Gareth.
Yeah, obviously Kevin Ayodele and Sina Gami losing their lives in that terrible car accident with Anthony Joshua, who must have a guardian angel on his shoulder as well. The fact he walked away unscathed, seemingly from the videos, on the road to between Lagos and Ibadan, on the freeway there. Terrible event for Joshua, for the two men who've lost their lives, for their families, of course. Massive condolences go out to them. It's just a terrible event to happen any time, not just at this time of year, but weirdly happening now, just in the moment where they would have been working with Anthony Joshua, looking towards 2026, where he just resonated again in America and on Netflix, where he was incredibly classy out in America, an absolute class act in the way he carried himself and was with everyone. I mean, I had an amazing interview with him post-fight for TalkSport, and I could just tell how many new fans he'd created in America, male and female. And so for this to happen will put a blight on his 2025, and it'll be interesting to see, Joe, what he goes through and how he recovers from this mentally, physically, emotionally, whether there are scars here going into 2026 and whether it now affects his program and his plan going into the new year, which would have been a warm-up fight late in February. But who knows whether he's got any residual injuries, even though he looked okay, and whether he has any mental scarring and needs to think about where he is in his life now, not in his career.
Yeah, certainly. And we all look forward to, or looked forward to seeing these plans unfold in 2026, with whether it be a warm-up fight, the big plans with the Tyson Fury fight. But it does kind of put it in perspective, doesn't it? That there are bigger
Yeah,
things, and
yeah,
health is wealth. And Anthony Joshua just, yeah, get well soon, physically, mentally, and everyone affected by it.
correct. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. And, it's a moment to have great empathy for him and his team.
Exactly, Gareth. We will fast forward to a reflection time now for 5, 10 minutes, and take a look back on 2025 in the world of boxing. First of all, what's been your favourite memory on a personal point of view in kind of your career in boxing for 2025?
Um, well, I think Alexander Usyk's performance at Wembley against Daniel Dubois and the way he handled him was just extraordinary. I think the first Benn Eubank fight was incredible. Canelo and Crawford at the Allegiant Stadium, Vegas, where I've been over 100 times in my career, was amazing on an amazing night. Um, with so many people, and the performance by Terence Crawford against Canelo was just sublime. I think those are three big memories from 2025 that they really do stand out.
What has been your fight of the year, Gareth?
Funnily you should say that because I've made some notes.
Good man.
Because there's so a lot to remember. My fights of the year, um, events and fights of the year are these: Better Biev and Bivol 2 in Riyadh, which was just an amazing chess match, a second chess match between the two brilliant light heavyweight Russians. I think round about that time as well, also in Riyadh, was the Joshua Buatsi and Callum Smith fight, which is again right up there as one of the fights of the year. Pitbull Cruz against Fierro on the undercard of David Benavidez and David Morrell was just brilliant. Parker and Wardley had so much drama in it. Benn and Eubank is really one of the fights of the year that I really enjoyed that first fight for being involved with TalkSport as a broadcaster on it and writing about it and feeling the thrill of that fight. That was enormously pleasurable. And the honourable mention is Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes, which was another brilliant fight of the year. On women's boxing, Michaela Mayer and Shannon Ryan too.
I'm so glad you mentioned Sam Noakes Abdullah Mason, G, because for my money, I think that might just sneak in as my favourite fight of the year.
Ah, good. I get it. I get that. I get it.
What about fighter of the year, Gareth? It's always a difficult one because the best fighters only fight once or twice a year, but then does that make them fight of the year? So how have you got it?
Right. A week ago, before the Night of the Samurai, in reverse order, I had Bam Rodriguez at number 4, Fighter of the Year. Alexander Usyk at number 3. I had Noya Inoue at number 2 and Terence Crawford, because I say of the majesty of that performance against Saul Canelo Alvarez. Given that I went back and forth on it for weeks and weeks, I think we were both at the first press conference in Riyadh for that. But Inouye's performance, when you think of the 4 victories this year, Ye Jun Kim, Ramon Cardenas, which again was one of the great fights of the year, by the way, Ramon Cardenas, Murajon Akhmadaliev, and now David Allen Picasso, in which he made an undefeated fighter at the weekend look so ordinary, even though he's fighting overmatched, really, because he's not really a super bantamweight, and I want to see him step up to featherweight. I think I'm moving Inoue above Crawford in retrospect after what he did at the weekend and the fact he's had a quartet of brilliant fights this year. So my fight of the year is Noya Inoue. My female fighter of the year is Ellie Scottney, then Lauren Price, then Caroline Dubois, but Ellie Scottney at number 1. And the one to watch out for, and you'll know her, and I've only really just started studying her, Tia May Ayton, who I think is going to be a big star in the sport.
Well, that
British Fighter of the Year, Fabio Wardley, Nick Ball.
love that. But you mentioned TMA in there. That leads us nicely onto Best prospect of 2025, Gareth.
Well, she's the female prospect.
Yep.
The best male prospect is Moses Itauma.
Yeah.
He's still a prospect. He's still a prospect. He stays a prospect. But I want to see him fight Fabio Wardley next year. I want to see him beat Jermaine Franklin, go 7 or 8 rounds. I think he stops Franklin. I just think he's got that thing about him that he's going to look for the finish. He's got those angles he creates. And I think he'll fight for a world title by the end of next year. I think the belts will fracture next year, and I think he'll fight for a world title.
At what point does Moses Itauma not become a prospect?
I mean, people might disagree with me that he's still a prospect because we talk about him in such glowing terms, and we believe obviously he's ranked in those sanctioning bodies so highly. But you don't agree that he's a prospect, then, no?
No, I agree with you. I agree because, in my opinion, the term prospect can differ because Moses Itauma is at a great stage now, but he's got prospects of reaching greater stages. There might be a
Yeah.
certain fighter that's only got prospects of winning a British title. So they might be at the same level, but Moses Itauma's still got greater prospects in the sport. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same about someone like Adam Azim as well. He's still a prospect,
Okay.
prospect towards world title level. I mean, obviously he fights early in the new year, in the end of
He
January.
does.
Um, Trying to think of someone. I can't think of anyone else right now because I've been writing so many notes about things I knew you'd be asking me.
What about knockout of the year? Have you prepped a knockout of the year, Gareth?
I think it's Fabio Wardley on Justice Hooney.
Yep, I agree with you there.
Down 9 rounds, an amazing knockout. Did I go for another one? I might not have written another one down.
Would that be fair to say story of the year, Gareth?
Yeah, massive drama. Like the Joseph Parker fight. Massive drama.
Just the whole
Massive.
story of Fabio Wardley, though, I'm saying, becoming WBO
Oh,
heavyweight
yeah.
world
Yeah.
champion.
Headhunter in the office to headhunter in the ring and installed as the WBO champion and winning 2 fights where he was behind on the cards by stoppage. Just extraordinary. Incredible character. Great to deal with. Yeah, extraordinary. Extraordinary story. Can I just say back on Noya Nui,
Yeah.
I'd like to see him face Nick Ball next year. If he fights Junto Nakatani, fine. But up at featherweight against Nick Ball, that is I think he wins it against Nick Ball, but it's a great matchup. And then I'd like to see him fight Bam Rodriguez at some point next year as well. If Noya Nui could have that year next year, it would be staggering.
Wow. Being a bit greedy there, I think, Gareth, but Nakatani, Nick Ball, and Bam Rodriguez would be something special. Just take a look then to 2026. I want you to name me 5 fights that are a must for not just us working in the sport, but for every boxing fan around the world that we need to see by the end of next year.
Well, the first one is at the end of the of January anyway. Shaka Stevenson against Tio Lopez for the simple reason that this is the biggest test of Shaka's career. Tio has all the stylistic and physical abilities to give him big problems. If Shaka looks convincing against Tio, I think he heads up that pound for pound list towards the top, which I think he will. I've always thought he would get to. Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua next year, given the abeyance that and respect to Anthony Joshua, that if he wants to take a different path right now, then I get it. Better be Evan Bivol 3. Callum Smith and David Benavidez. Fabio Wardley, Moses Itauma. I
Love
think
that.
that if we got all those 5 fights, it would be brilliant.
Love that fight. Gareth, I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of your holiday. When are you back?
In a week's time,
Okay.
got friends out here tonight. About to go meet them. We're all out, a group of us out for New Year. We're doing a rooftop bar tomorrow night. So, Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year. I apologise for my terrible singing on IFLTV. Let them know it's Christmas time.
You
All of
dragged me
that.
into it as well.
I
So I
dragged you
apologise.
into it, but you've got a great voice, of course, musical as you are. No, it's been a great year to be involved with you guys, and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all your subscribers.
Yeah, no, I want to say thank you as well, Gareth, for giving me your time throughout the year. We probably racked up a lot of hours of interviews over the last.
Racked up a few views as well.
Oh, certainly, mate. And may it last long into 2026 and beyond. Gareth A. Davies, thank you very much. And we will catch up in the new year, brother.
Love you. Cheers, Joe.
Love you, mate. Cheers.